on his hands and knees helping to put this here. That's where his heart is, and God bless Gotti Edelman. Please come out and help. Gotti Edelman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Awesome. Can you guys hear me okay? No. Mike? Try it now? There we go. All right. I got to admit, Major Dave, that's the first time I've come out to that music. Before I get started, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. And I heard people mentioning all the different services, World War II, Korea, current conflicts, Afghanistan, Iraq. Am I the only one here that served in Lebanon? No. All right. This is by no means my forte or in the realm of my expertise. I'm a counterterror specialist. I speak on Islam and national security. I was asked to speak today because I am a Jew. More than that, I'm an Israeli. I was born here in the States and grew up in Israel. And who better to speak on the offensive nature of a cross in a public park than a Jew? Well, I have to tell you, I'm pissed. I'm pissed that this gathering even had to take place. One individual, Stephen Hewitt, was bothered by the memorial of a kneeling soldier in front of a cross. Stephen Hewitt is a veteran of Afghanistan, and I thank him for that service. But, Mr. Hewitt, I have to say, I'm offended.
Yes.
I'm offended that you don't see the hypocrisy in what you've done. You volunteered for the U.S. military and you served so that others may have freedom, and then you took mine away. You, sir, display a fundamental misunderstanding of the very Constitution you swore to uphold and protect. I'm offended that I don't get to see the kneeling soldier. I'm offended that I don't have a choice to look at it because it bothered you. I'm offended that you don't comprehend that the same court system that allowed you to have that statue taken down is the court system that has Moses holding the Ten Commandments. And I'm referring to the United States Supreme Court. Above the east entrance to the United States Supreme Court, sculpted into the building, is the statue of Moses holding the Ten Commandments. As you enter the Supreme Court courtroom, there are two huge oak doors, and each door has the Ten Commandments carved into it. As you sit inside the Supreme Court, on the wall right above where the Supreme Court judges sit, there is a display of the Ten Commandments. There are Bible verses etched in stone all over federal buildings and monuments in Washington, D.C. Public buildings paid for by tax dollars, just like this park. I can think of another place that Mr. Hewitt might find offensive. It's another public place that is paid for by tax dollars. It's part of the national park system. It's called Arlington Cemetery. Tell me, Mr. Hewitt, would you like to go and remove every cross and star from more than 300,000 graves there? Somehow I think I know your answer about Arlington would be different. You would say something along the line of all faiths are represented there, including atheists. It was the personal choice of the individual. Somehow I'm sure that you think that the crosses and stars in Arlington are okay, even though it's on public land paid for by tax dollars, because it was a personal choice of faith. Well, when did the choice or opinion of one individual get to take away the rights of the majority? I have no problem seeing a cross on public land, and I'm Jewish. But I also realize that this country was founded on Judeo-Christian values, and it is 80% Christian. Near the rotunda in the United States Capitol is the Congressional Prayer Room. It's there for members of Congress who seek meditation or prayer. The room has a stained glass window of George Washington kneeling in prayer with the words from Psalm 16:1, "Preserve me, O God, for in thee I do put my trust." And the words above it, "This nation under God." In addition to spaces set aside for private group or prayer, a prayer is given before the opening of each session of both the House and Senate by the chaplain of the United States Senate and the chaplain of the United States House of Representatives. Those prayers trace their origins back to the days of the Continental Congress and the official recommendation of Benjamin Franklin on June 28, 1787. This country, the greatest country in the world, was founded on Judeo-Christian values. I've seen the kneeling soldier in front of the cross, and do you know what I, as a Jew, see when I look at that? I see a soldier paying tribute to a recently fallen comrade. But more than that, I see something even more important. Just like all the buildings I just mentioned, I see faith. We are losing a battle in this country to our right to our faith. The same faith that made this country what it is, the same faith that millions have fought for and died to protect. I am by no means a legal scholar, so I want to quote Professor Michael Paulson. He's the Distinguished University Chair and Professor at the University of St. Thomas Law School. He's also among the nation's leading scholars of the Constitution and has served as staff counsel for the Center of Law and Religious Freedom, as well as being an advisor for the Office of Legal Counsel. He said, and I quote, "The correct understanding of the First Amendment is not that it forbids contact and even voluntary cooperation between church and state. Rather, it protects private religious liberty, but it does so in two complementary ways. In a nutshell, government may neither compel nor prohibit religious exercise. Under the original meaning of the Constitution, government must protect religious choices and include religious persons, groups, and speakers on an equal basis. It may recognize and accommodate a religion as long as it does not compel persons to engage in religious or practices against their will, which is the hallmark of what the establishment of religion was understood to mean at the time that the framers wrote the First Amendment," end quote. In 1989, the Supreme Court stated that it was a right to burn the American flag, as it is a symbol of speech protected by the First Amendment. It always amazed me that the same individuals that burn the flag are burning the very symbol that gives them that right. This reminds me of those flag burners. Back in the 1980s, I started saying that political correctness would be the death of this country. I wasn't referring to, nor did I ever even consider, that it would be our faith. But that is where we have gone, having to protect our right to faith. I spoke out and fought for the 9/11 cross. I spoke out and fought for the Mojave Desert Cross. Why? Why do I as a Jew care? Because I see the bigger picture. I know what will happen when we lose our faith. I know what will happen when we are not allowed to display our faith or speak about our faith publicly. Back to my expertise. There's a saying in Arabic, Min sa'alaf et sabat laka el had kadima. That saying means when Saturday is gone, one will find Sunday. Or in other words, first comes Saturday, then comes Sunday. A battle cry for Muslims. First the Jews, then the Christians. If you think Islam is a problem now, wait until faith is no longer allowed. Thank you.